Hey guys, happy seventh day of the mini cut. Lots to catch up on. Um, I just got to the gym. I'm going to train some full body today. When I say full body, it is a leg print. My split is weird. It's like full body, but legs split up in ways where I can recover properly. So it is a wellness focused program, but with less sets, more intensity, more frequency. So instead of like your bro split or, doing anterior, posterior, like quads and hams and glutes, it's like a little bit of those all each every second day with a rest in between, but less sets. So yeah. But anyways, at the moment, I'm going to be real with you guys. Like I am struggling. It is struggle street with the deficit. Just mentally, like I didn't anticipate, like, I'm okay with the feeling of hunger, but it's more so like the brain fog that's been really challenging. Um, like if I've blocked out certain periods to learn or for work or like client replies, I just find like my brain power is just really low because of the low carbs. I'm on about 150 training days, 100 on training days, and I went down from 390 on training days. So pretty big drop. It hasn't affected my training yet, but again, I haven't been like 100% on point with everything. Like most of the time, yes, I've been following macros for tea. There was just probably like 1 or 2 days this week I had a meal with Jacob's family and like just some extra fruit. Nothing too big, but I'm still dropping at a decent rate. I've still lost about 1.6 kilos in within the 7 day period. Most of that would just be like a lot of inflammation, water. But yeah, I actually forgot about, I didn't anticipate the mental aspect of dieting. I will say though, it's pretty nice to feel lean again and to not feel like full and inflamed. It definitely has some positives. I've been doing cardio every second day on the Stairmaster. But I'm keen for this. Yeah, keen for it to be over and to move back into the build. Probably the biggest thing I've struggled with this week, I would say, is looking at my body. I feel like I look like shit at the moment. And I've had a really hard time just accepting my physique in the way I'm looking because it's called kind of the skinny fat stage of dieting. And this is why most people don't kind of make it past that 2-3 week hump because not only is it challenging, but visually we go through this skinny fat stage where typically sometimes you have to look worse before you look better in dieting, meaning that the first couple of weeks of your deficit, you're going to be glycogen depleted. So your carbohydrates are lower, so you're not going to have that fullness, that crispness to your muscles, which can make them pop and actually make you look leaner and more muscular. But you're also not necessarily going to have lost a noticeable amount of body fat yet. So what I'm saying is that sometimes you can look worse before you look better. You can be this like soggy, skinny fat look, which I'm currently at the moment, where you look both fatter and flatter than when you started dieting. And that can mentally fuck with you so much. It can play so many tricks on you. And it is for me at the moment. Visually, just looking in the mirror, I feel like I look like a soggy sack of potatoes. But I know it's only going to get better from there. And I've just got to trust the process and kind of stay consistent with it. I've been relatively consistent and I am still dropping, but we'll assess my carbs for next week and whether we'll increase them or not because the brain function is getting to me. But otherwise, going to get in there today, give it my best. I'll take you through some training. I just thought I'd, keep it real because it has been a struggle at the moment. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. And yeah, the amount of times the last couple of days I have thought about, just completely breaking the diet, just going to the pantry and just a few old, thought patterns coming back. But I'm really proud of myself because I didn't. And I don't cope with food the same way I used to. I know that if it's an emotional reason, that problem is still going to be there after I, eat a bunch of food to deal with it, but you're going to be in a worse place body comp wise, and the problem will still be there. So you can deal with your problems, you can have sadness, you can have your issues, but you cannot associate food with coping with that issue, because then it becomes very unhealthy. And that's the cycle I used to be in for a really long time. I would constantly search for dopamine through food. But the biggest thing was taking a break from dieting for a long period of time. I probably took like 3 years off from dieting just to do an untracked build years ago. And that was the best thing I could do for my relationship with food, is to stop dieting until I was ready to. I'm now ready to, and I'm in a much healthier place than I was. But yeah, that's my biggest tip. If you struggle a little bit with food and restriction, go into a build. Stop tracking for a while. I find I get very obsessive if I track using an app and I'm constantly like picking it up. I find what works best for me is a meal plan, kind of a combo of like intuitive meal plan. I like to know what my protein target is for the day and roughly know things, but in my head I can make substitutions of vegetables that are similar or meats, and just being able to take away mentally from having to track, that has improved my relationship with food and tracking so much more. So yeah, that's it. Gonna go train. Gonna get my head in the zone. I've taken a little bit of Impel. I'm feeling a little bit scattered today, but you gotta stay positive. At least we've got the definition isn't there. Okay, so first I took some pre, and then we moved straight into the first exercise, which was dumbbell laterals. And I took my shirt off and put it straight back on after because I was feeling self-conscious. But yes, laterals, I'm really trying to grab with my shoulders and drive up slowly. What I found also helps as well is bracing your core. I can definitely see I'm using a bit of momentum though. So next I moved straight into pendulums. You either love these or you hate these ones. So I'm trying to really drive my knees out. I highly recommend, if you do not have knee sleeves, chuck on a pair of knee sleeves. They make them feel so solid. The reason I'm not speaking in my videos today is I kind of just wanted to really get in the zone and focus on my intensity, because what I've been finding recently is filming has taken away a little bit from kind of that mindset I had around training. So I decided just not to record my voice today, and the pain was brutal. You can use your psychological and emotional pain towards your training sessions. After that, I moved straight into leg extensions. Now, what I've done with this is I've rolled up a yoga mat and I like to strap it to the machine. And what this basically does is it gives you much fuller range of motion for your quads so that they can get a deeper stretch, which is going to get us better results in terms of muscle growth. So it allows a deeper range of motion and a much greater stretch. With these ones, I'm pulling myself down into the machine, and I'm thinking about pulling my hips down and tucking them underneath as well, and really just getting full extension as much as I can at the top. So then I decided to try a new exercise I've never done, which is a sissy squat variation on a hack squat machine. With this one, it makes sense to be able to load them a bit more, but I just don't think I was doing them correctly, so they did feel a bit off. It felt like kind of an SRJ injury waiting to happen. So I just performed regular sissy squats instead. These are fantastic either as a finisher or like as a superset with something like leg extensions or leg press. They're absolutely brutal, but what you want to do is really make sure to keep your hips tucked underneath posteriorly, so that way you're not kind of hurting your back, and going kind of as low as you can, slowly, barely locking out at the top. Even with no weight, that will be sufficient. That's what I ended up having to do. After quads, I moved straight into a glute drive. Honestly, lately I've been obsessed with the glute drive. Like, I just got a bit sick of the Smith. We go through phases. But with this one, I'm basically going not all the way down, but just down until my knees, they start rocking forward. I go just before that point to ensure that it's mostly glutes. And I actually got a bit more hip extension than I thought. But the key with these isn't lifting a shit ton of weight. It's getting as much weight as you can with full hip extension while kind of still feeling your glutes. So this variation of ham curls I've been obsessed with lately. You can get so much more range of motion, and I've been able to grow my hammies a lot more from them. So all I did is I grabbed a detachable foam mat and I placed it on my lying hamstring curl machine, and that naturally will increase the range of motion, so the stretch that our hammies get. So it's especially, we want to be spending most of our time in the eccentric phase of the movement, which is that stretch, to get the biggest benefit for kind of hypertrophy. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm really using a slow tempo on the way down and on the way up. And I'm thinking about squeezing my glutes and tucking my hips into the pad as I drive up, and really bracing my core so that the load doesn't get transferred too much into the lower back. This is currently how my physique is looking after around a week in the mini cut. Still a bit of definition, but not as lean as I would like to be. But of course, it's just a mini cut. We're not going into a full-on cut, and I'm honestly excited as fuck to get back into the build phase. Let me know down below what phase you're currently doing. Let me know what phase at the moment you're currently in with your physique, or what your goals are for this year as far as your body comp go.